Like, I know so many people, and I was one of them, who never go to the dentist, who never had a family doctor, none of these things, and it really hinders them later in life.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to CattaBlah.
Welcome to our Talk and Play podcast. It's like a podcast, but better. So, if you're new to this type of video, we talk about everything under the sun.
No, I missed it.
We think that you can talk about anything, and we do it while playing old school video games. I mean, we have been wrong in the past.
Yeah.
Like, you can talk about anything, and then everybody's like, you should have said that.
You can't talk about anything.
But today's topic is, and it's something that's very close to me, I guess, is that the education system is very flawed in terms of what they teach, and
They're failing. They're failing, you bastard way.
Real, they are though, and in multiple different ways. Like we were talking about how I know when we got out of school, we're the extreme example because we came from a small town of like 1,000 people, and
Don't eat this.
oh my god.
Oh my god.
And then we had hardly any life skills. Like nothing was ever taught to us. I remember this time that we were looking for a post office. You remember that? And then we were driving up to up north, up by where your brother lived, and then we found out there was a post office like right next to us. But we had no idea of how to ever find that information. There's just there was a lot of, I don't know.
Well, the reason we were talking about this was that what was that guy's name?
BoyInABand.
BoyInABand, a big YouTube channel. He did a song about basically the schools failing people, about education kind of failing people. What was the name of that song? You're done.
It was called "Don't Stay in School," and he made a lot of good points. Like, we learn how to do advanced algebra and whatnot, but at no time during school do they teach you how to do your taxes, or do they teach you what the laws of the world are, or laws of your country are, or how to be a parent was another one. So you go out of school and sure, you know how to do long division, but do you know how to survive? Do you know how to have a successful life? Do you know how to do a job interview? Do you know how to do a resume? Do you know...
I feel like in English class we did do resumes.
We did. But apparently that's not very common.
No?
No. But even so, like, the resumes that we did in that class were so juvenile, I guess is the correct word.
Well, yeah, they weren't, I guess, not great per se.
It's like, here's the basic format of how a resume is done, but they never showed you how to optimize it and how to stand out of a crowd. And
yeah, the things that you should and shouldn't put on a resume, I don't think really went over well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like, I know some places, like where we were from, there was it was an optional class, like an elective, called Life Transitions, where it was more based on kind of like life skills and that kind of stuff. But having said that, like some things that we kind of did was like budgeting. So like how to budget your money. I don't feel like that was very in depth.
No.
I mean, it's basic math really. It's like, okay, here's all my expenses.
Here's how much I make.
Here's how much I make. Here's how much I'm gonna have left over. So I know how much I can save, how much I can spend, etc., etc. But like, a lot of stuff when you move out of home that you need to do, like taxes. Everybody has to do taxes. I'm quite positive we never learned how to do that.
No.
Then a lot of people don't know how, or just avoid it because they don't know how. And things like when we first moved to the city, and because we're from a small town, we didn't have any buses. Like for one of the we didn't have any buses.
Yeah.
we had no idea how to use public transit.
Yeah.
Coming to a big city from a small town, you know, all of a sudden now, you know, if you don't have a vehicle, you gotta learn how to use public transit, how to get places. No idea. Because that's not something we ever had to do. And trying to figure out how to get somewhere or what buses to take was like, it was a scary thing to do because like that's not something we ever learned how to do. And unless you have somebody there to teach you how to do it when you're going to do it, it can be a very scary thing to do. And I mean, I'm not necessarily saying, you know, in this case, buses, they should teach you in school how to ride a bus. Like, I mean, maybe, but at the same time, maybe not. It almost kind of seems silly, but a useful skill. And just kind of like other things like that, like stuff that when you move out from home, you'll need to know how to do. And I mean, maybe bus isn't a great idea or a great example just because I know a lot of kids in school, they had to take the bus to get to school. So they probably already learned that kind of stuff. But coming from a small town, that's skills that we, I guess, never had or never was anything that we had done before.
What's interesting is, like you said, we had a very basic part of that, and it was, like you said, it was an elective that you didn't have to take. Personally, I don't think that it should be an elective. I feel like teaching, you know, in your senior year of high school, you're 17 years old, a life skills class should absolutely be mandatory, in my opinion. And it should teach you things from taxes. Yeah, how to budget isn't a terrible one to put in there because nobody knows how to use that. I would love to have known about mortgages or how loans work in general.
Yes, honestly, that's a big... And I think we might have done something like that.
Maybe.
I seem to recall, but it was very basic and not very in-depth.
But like loans, credit cards. We did learn how to cook, which apparently a lot of schools don't.
Really? I thought that was like, you see that in movies all the time. They take like home ec classes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where they're learning how to cook and whatnot.
What else? Like I'm a political person, so I do think it's important to teach kids how to form their own political opinions. Because I do think that is a problem right now where nobody really... You guys have said it, the subscribers here have said it before, like, I just don't want to get into it now because I'm so far out of it. How do you even get into it? And then people do vote and it's ill-informed. So it just... There's... What the fuck? Hey.
You gotta get right on it and press, I think you have to press A. Or press a button to move up. No. Oh, there you just got it right.
There's just so many things that schools should have taught us that they didn't, and there's other ways that I think. Oh my god!
Pretty good.
Couldn't move.
Pretty good.
This fucking joypad.
Oh, you're still using that shitty thing? Do you not have the other one?
Yeah, it's worse.
Oh.
Damn it! I don't know what I was gonna say.
You were talking about things.
I
know you were talking about political. Oh, okay, come on. Talking about forming political opinions. We were talking about.
But there's so many things, like even taking care of yourself. Like I know so many people, and I was one of them, who never go to the dentist, who never had a family doctor, none of these things, and it really hinders them later in life because then they get older. And now they're dealing with all these health complications that they should have been dealing with beforehand. Like it's all of those life skills, like how to be an adult. And I can't move.
You gotta jump over that.
There's other ways that I think that they failed as well. Like I think in terms of schools and teachers. If there's any teachers watching this, y'all fail when it comes to anything bully related. That's ridiculous. Like
and I don't know what it is, but it makes it worse if you I do that every. It almost makes it worse when you bring it up because they don't. I feel like they maybe don't go far enough with it to make a change. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, we're gonna give them a slap on the wrist. So there you go, problem solved. It's like, okay, they got kind of punished, but now I have to deal with them every day
Yeah.
going forward, and it's going to be worse now because they got in trouble for doing whatever to me, right?
Yeah. Again, there were so many times in class and whatnot where, one of my bullies would throw something at my head, and a teacher absolutely seen it, and they wouldn't say anything. Just nothing. Just didn't want to get involved. And I have a real problem with that. I think that
You're gonna jump left. Yeah.
I think
You have to go back around and then.
teachers are just as bad as bullies in that way for turning a blind eye. And there was times that I said something.
Keep going.
That
You gotta hit him twice.
That I said something. Oh my god. That I said something to the principal or whatever, and they told me that I should learn to take a joke. I don't know. Like, there's just so many different ways that teachers fail students. Not only with the teaching, but just like guiding them and making sure they're okay and all this different stuff. And I don't know how you could possibly fix that.
Now he's gonna go around twice. Well, I mean, it's tough when it's the whole school. You gotta go around again. Because how is anything gonna change unless you bring it to the tippy top of, I guess the people who are in charge of all the teachers. Because if all the teachers are like that, they're not going to get punished because they're all looking out for each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the times that does happen anyways. Oh boy. I feel like that does happen anyways, where all the teachers have each other's backs.
Yeah.
And oh boy. Ooh. Come back. Okay. You gotta hit again.
Oh, what?
You have to hit each one twice.
Oh, that's lame. Don't know what happened there. Yeah, I don't. It's and I have a close relationship with this because I feel like my school absolutely failed me in every possible way, and a lot of my family are teachers, and my mom's a teacher, for example. We've had this exact conversation where she does feel like the later years of schooling is a complete waste of time. Where there's certain things that are mandatory classes, but why are they mandatory? It makes no sense. Like, if somebody wants to be a carpenter, why is a basic biology class absolutely mandatory for that person? Why?
But it's at the same time though, you're in grade 10, you don't know what you want to do when you get out of school. Half the time when you're in grade 12, you don't know what you want to do when you get out. So a lot of these courses you will need to take to get degrees later on in life, and if you don't take them now, and then realize later what you actually want to do, then you don't have them, so you're behind on your education.
True, but if you look at... Okay, so let's go back to that scenario with the guy that wants to build things for a living. He doesn't need biology. Is he really going to try in that class, or is having that low score in that class really going to screw him in the end?
It's tough to say.
Because I know that I was definitely like that. I couldn't give two shits about biology, and I barely passed it.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like I said, it's like it's like that for people who know what they want to do. And especially early on, where a lot of people probably don't. And if they skip out on some of these classes, then they're really crippling themselves later, just because they don't know what they want to do early on, so they wait, and then eventually they kind of figure out what they want to do. Sometimes even when they go to university, they don't even know what they want to do. There's one more. You gotta go around again.
But there's some people that you just know are not gonna go to university because they don't have that knowledge base, or they don't have that wherewithal. I'm sorry, but there is some people that are just born smarter than others. There are some that try to make an honest living just working a labor job that maybe you go to a technical school for a couple months a year, And that is all that they're capable of. So why waste their time in a biology class is what I'm saying. Like, we have people in our class that never pass that class because of it. So,
and I'm not saying that that doesn't happen. Like, that for sure happens. Like, there's some people who you're pretty sure are not going to go on to anything big and great.
yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to take those chances away from them. But as you get further along, though, in their once you get like grade 11, grade 12, that's where some more electives maybe should be open.
Yes.
And we were also talking about, like, a lot of countries, they learn 2 languages in school. Now, I mean, it might be different down in the States and other places. In Canada, we learn French in school. But one thing that I don't like about it is that we don't really learn conversational French. We learn... I feel like all we're doing is learning words and a few phrases. Now, to ask me to have a conversation with somebody in French, I couldn't, because I don't know, the regular slang that they use, or some words they use in a certain way that I never learned how, because I'm just learning basic words and verbs and how to conjugate them. I'm not learning how to build a sentence properly.
Like, look at Japanese or Mandarin or whatnot. Like, a lot of what they're saying, there's certain phrases and words that they'll say multiple times, but they mean different things based on your inflection in your voice.
Mm-hmm.
So, and apparently it's the same thing for a lot of different languages out there. So, like, teaching kids the words, like, this is what roast is in this language.
Yeah.
It's useless. It's pointless. Unless you're going to go to a French or a Spanish restaurant and you're going to ask for, I don't know, la nana.
Pineapple?
Yeah. It's one of those things where, and it's something that I think about quite a bit, as somebody that's going to be having kids here in the next couple of years, that I believe some of it needs to fall on the parents as well. But at the same time, if your education system has failed the parents as well, how does a parent who doesn't even know these basic things teach their kids? Like, I know parents that don't do their taxes because they don't know how. So it's the blind leading the blind at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally it would be better for schools to teach more life skills, but I still do think that they need to be teaching these other subjects so that we're not crippling kids that are wanting to go into university later on, because they'll need these classes. So I feel like there needs to be a mixture. I feel like, early on we can, have the kind of the regular education courses, but then later on in like your grade 11, grade 12, there should be more kind of life skills classes. And I mean, maybe in bigger schools they have more. I just know, like, in our small school, we never really had much as far as that goes. And I feel like, I don't know, the schools are pushing out a lot of kids that when they get it back into the real world, they just fail.
Yep.
Just because they don't have these skills. And a lot of parents these days are also not really giving their kids the skills either.
And see, I'm on the other side of the fence where I think that every class should be a choice, but it should be an informed choice. Like, when kids are choosing their class that they might want to take, it should be a decision that's made with the parents and the teacher, and make sure everybody has all the information. Like, at the beginning of the year, maybe you have like a parent-teacher interview type of thing. It's like, okay, here's your options. If you want to get into this field of study someday, take these classes. If you don't want to limit your choices in the future, pick these ones. If you are somebody that, you're not capable of getting into those high sciences or the engineering or the maths, here's what a plan would look like for you to get into a high-paying trade school, and to have kind of that plan set out for them, and then a whole group makes an educated kind of plan for the kid. That's kind of going to be my plan with my kids, is to, talk with them all the time and see what their interests are, and obviously not limit them, but yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. You guys, I'm sure a lot of people come from like big cities and stuff where it could be different. Like maybe they do have more of that. Where we came from, it didn't, and I feel like it would have been a really great thing to have. So you gotta let us know what kind of stuff, if you guys ever had any of these kind of things in your schools, versus what kind of things that you think should have been taught in school. Let us know down in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.